Okay, so I've tried to do this a few times now and I've ran into some issues. Let's see if it works this time. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make an enumeration. And that's going to be that's going to keep track of your state machine for you. So do that, we'll widen this guy out a bit, and then you're going to go to advanced and customize. Once you're in there, it's important that you change it to a strict type def, and then you're going to right click on here and you're going to edit items. Now you can look at the state machine and look at what the names are or follow along with this. So I named it startup waiting for button first target and second target, and delete that last one, my bad. So we hit OK on that and make sure waiting for button is shown on there. Okay, and now I'm just gonna X out of this and I'm gonna say yes to this, and I'm going to save, and I'm gonna call it Brenda state machine, and just what I felt like calling it. So from here, let's switch over to our other view, and we can see that our state machine was added. Okay, so what I'm going to do, the very first thing I'm going to do is hit Control and U, and that's going to clean everything up, so it makes it as nice and neat as possible. Now from here, what I want to do is I'm going to take all of these things, just grab everything and simply drag and drop it until it is all outside of that big box, except for this won't need to leave, and I don't think it can anyways. So we'll grab this, bring it all outside this box, tap that frame and delete it. So okay, so we completely got rid of that frame. We're going to hit Control U again, and that'll clean up for us again. And now the first thing I want to do here is I'm going to right click, go to Structures, and we're going to make a while loop. This while loop is going to be basically what you're going off of. What is this guy? This guy is, I think we just got a straggler there. I don't really know. So state, bring in our little state guy. We're going to right click him and change him to an indicator, and then we're going to click on this box and we're going to add shift register, because that guy who told you that was correct. So create and constant, good, it says startup, it should say that. That's what was messing up for me a little bit. So it says it, I'm gonna see if Control U will do anything for me here, because, oh, okay, let me Control Z that, so back up. Okay, I'm not in love with all the stuff around it, but it's fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wire this to our shift register, and we are going to create a case structure. And so now our shift register is going to control our case structure, and we tell it that by putting it as the input on this question. So immediately you'll see that it has wait for button, and if you left click it says start up and wait for button. So we right click and go to add case for every value, and so if we left click again, we'll see all 4 values that we had earlier. So we're going to want this to be startup. Make sure it is. It should be. And let's wire this guy up. I don't know if I changed him. Okay, so he is an indicator. I didn't remember if I did that. Okay. So when we're in the startup, all the startup does is it goes immediately to waiting for button. So we're going to right click. Nope, we're going to come over here and select this. Control C will copy and Control V will paste. And that is going to come back out and it's going to go into this side of the shift register. So that'll be our next state. So it starts at this state and immediately goes into the next state. And we'll left click on this to change that state to waiting for button. So you're in startup mode, you come in, it checks it, you're in the startup thing here, and so it's going to do the waiting for button option for you, and that immediately goes out to your next state. So we're ready to move on. So we click waiting for button. So this will be where we put whatever the waiting for button does. So let's go back and I'll explain the button. I felt like putting a button in here might make it easier on you. So that way you can, so once you do that, you'll have to, I'm just going to call it begin targeting. I don't think I spelled that right. Whatever. And I like it to be a little bit bigger. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to change the mechanical action to latch when released. This just means that when you press it, it'll come back out whenever you release it. So you don't have to manually, or you don't have to change any code. Okay, so now that we have our button, you'll see it placed our button conveniently in here, but sometimes it doesn't always place it somewhere you can see it, so you may have to look for it. Okay, so all this is we're going to have a conditional statement, which is going to be a true or false, and that true or false is going to be based on the button, and we'll hit Control Copy, and we'll paste one above and one below, and if the button is pressed, then we go to the first target. And if it's not pressed, then we stay in waiting for button. And that output is going to go to our shift register. So we're done with the button part of it. So once we're in our first target, first thing we notice is we don't have a sine wave yet. We don't have our simulated wave. That one's going to go inside the while loop, but outside of the other loop. So let me actually hit Control U one more time and see if it gives me, never mind, it doesn't always work out for me. I'll wait to the end and try that. So let's just take this, I'd like to widen it out some so I have some room to bring in my signal. Okay, so what we're going to do is, I believe you had this one in your first loop there, your first target loop, and then we're going to grab all this this build graph stuff and we're going to put it inside the case. So build graph this, and we don't need this one because we've already got this one. We can just steal the wire off of it and go to two places. Same thing with this one, so I'll go ahead and get rid of it. I'm going to hit Control B and I'll break up those, and I need all this stuff. So all this stuff comes in. Yeah, this is the green one, and we apparently lost a 0, so let me find a constant and tie him on. Okay, so that was that 0 that I deleted, but okay, so that's the one for the green, and we are going to, I messed that up, didn't I? This should be the 1, huh? Okay, so you know which is which, so it may be a little easier for you to get it right the first time, but I was kind of confused, I guess. Okay, so now we're just going to wire it up kind of like normal. So bring this guy in, put him right there. Also, we're going to want to take him, and he's also going to go to our operand, and the so let's put this in the corner where it's out of the way, and well, whatever. Okay, so something happened with that. That was weird. Okay, so we've got our thing here again, and we're gonna click him, Control C, Control V, make a new one of him, and I'm going to bring these guys up a bit. That way I can have this guy. So so the other thing we want to do, so if it's in range, we still, or if it's out of range, we do our green, in range we go black, so all that stays the exact same, plot color, blah blah blah, goes the same. The other thing we want to check off of range is to change states. So once we're in range, we immediately want to change states. So we're going to copy and paste a couple more of these guys onto here, and let's okay, so that one goes there, and this one goes here, and then let's make sure to change your values. So if we are in range, then we go to the second target, and if we're not in range, then we remain at the first target, and that is going to be sent to our shift register. So it looks like we're done with the first target. We click and go to second target, and we'll bring in this, bring in pretty much everything that's left. So as well as I'm going to need to make a copy of that graphing software, that graphing, whatever you want to call it. So let's bring all this in. Let's go back to first target, and I'll copy all the graphing stuff, which is all of this, and I'm going to hit Control Copy, go back to second, paste, and the one of the important things, yeah, I'm going to have to get to that. Okay, so alright, let me create another constant for him. Okay. And slide all this over here. And copy, paste, drag them down a bit. Copy, paste, paste. Okay, same as before. This range finder thingy, it's going to tell you if you're in range or not. If you are in range, then you'll go back to the waiting for button state so that you can simply press the button again and start again. And if you're not in range, then you will remain in the current state, which is second target. Okay, so I'll hit Control B to break that wire. Bring in wire to here. Bring in that wire to here too. And okay, so this is important. So this one that says graph 2, delete. Go ahead and break that and go back to first target. We're going to right click it, go to create and local variable. So let's just place them outside of our while loop, and we can go back to second target and we'll grab them again and we'll place them right here. I don't know why it doesn't let you do it the other way and still graph to the same graph, but you need to do this or else it won't recognize that you're trying to send it to this graph. So that's what that is. And I think that the final thing to do is the while loop needs some kind of condition on it, and so we're just going to say false. And so what this false condition is going to do is just leave us in the loop forever, so you'll manually have to hit the stop button if you want it to stop. One other thing I kind of want to try now that everything's done is I'll hit that Control U button, and it condenses it quite a bit. And let me look through to make sure all my states are still looking good. Yeah, looks pretty good. Cool. So now we should be done. Let's switch over and see what it looks like. So I'm going to hit run. We're in startup. It switches to wait for button immediately. I'll press this. Now you can notice that the state changes to first target, and we've got our sine wave flowing. So when it hits the green box will go away, and we'll just still have that smooth sine wave. It never changes. And your box isn't lined up perfectly with 2.0. I don't know if you know or not, but it's not, so it doesn't look like it hits the box when it hits 2. But that is the cutoff point that the original program had, so I kept it. I hope that helps you. So yeah, I think that's it. Let me know if you have any trouble. Alright, bye.